Faith is not simply believing in something without proof. It is not blind trust or a rigid belief in words that were spoken long ago. True faith is something deeper. It is born from experience, nourished by wisdom, and strengthened by understanding. In Buddhism, faith is not separate from reason. It is a balance between trust and insight. When you first hear about the teachings of the Buddha, you may feel inspired. You might think, "This makes sense," or "This brings me peace." But initial inspiration alone is not faith. It is only the beginning. Faith deepens as you apply the teachings in your life and see their truth for yourself. When you practice mindfulness, compassion, and patience, you experience the effects directly. Through these experiences, faith becomes more than an idea. It becomes a lived reality. However, faith is not always steady. Doubt arises. Questions come to mind. Am I following the right path? Do these teachings really work? This is natural. Doubt is not the enemy of faith. In Buddhism, doubt is an important part of growth. The Buddha himself encouraged people not to accept his words blindly, but to test them, question them, and see for themselves if they lead to wisdom and peace. When doubts arise, do not push them away. Examine them carefully. Reflect on your experiences. In doing so, your faith will mature. Some people see faith as something fixed, something that does not change. But true faith is dynamic. It grows as you grow. It deepens as you deepen your understanding. A tree does not stay the same size. It spreads its roots and reaches toward the sky. Faith is like that. It starts as a small seed, but with care and patience, it becomes something strong and steady. Many people struggle with faith because they feel they need certainty. They want absolute proof before they commit to a path. But faith does not mean knowing everything. It means being open to the journey, even without knowing where it will lead. It means taking one step at a time, trusting that each step will bring new understanding. As you walk this path, your faith will continue to evolve. It will be tested by difficulties, strengthened by practice, and guided by wisdom. Faith is not a destination. It is a lifelong journey, always unfolding, always deepening. Faith alone is not enough. It must be accompanied by wisdom and compassion. If faith is the foundation of a strong tree, then wisdom and compassion are its branches and leaves, reaching out into the world. Without wisdom, faith can become blind. Without compassion, faith can become rigid. But when all three are present, faith becomes a force that transforms both ourselves and those around us. Wisdom is not simply knowledge. It is not just memorizing teachings or understanding philosophy. True wisdom comes from deep reflection and experience. It is seeing reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. When we look at life through the lens of wisdom, we begin to see that all things are impermanent. Happiness and sorrow, success and failure, none of them last forever. This understanding helps us remain calm in difficult times and humble in times of joy. Compassion, on the other hand, is the heart of faith. It is the ability to see the suffering of others and respond with kindness. True faith is not just about our own inner peace. It is also about how we interact with the world. The Buddha taught that we should cultivate a heart as vast as the ocean, able to embrace all beings with love and understanding. When we practice compassion, we do not see others as separate from ourselves. We see that their struggles are our struggles, and their happiness is our happiness. Living with wisdom and compassion does not mean avoiding difficulties. In fact, it means facing them with courage. When someone hurts us, wisdom allows us to see their actions as a result of their own suffering, and compassion helps us respond with understanding instead of anger. When life presents us with hardship, wisdom reminds us that all things change, and compassion gives us the strength to endure without bitterness. Every day, we are faced with choices. Do we react with impatience or understanding? Do we hold on to grudges or let go with forgiveness? These small decisions shape the path we walk. The more we choose wisdom and compassion, the more natural they become. Over time, our faith becomes unshakable, not because it is never challenged, but because it is supported by these two powerful forces. As we continue on this journey, we must ask ourselves, how can we let faith, wisdom, and compassion guide us in our daily lives? In the next part, we will explore how faith connects us to something eternal, something beyond change, beyond suffering, and beyond the limits of our individual selves. Life is always changing. Nothing stays the same. Our bodies age, our loved ones come and go, and the world around us moves in ways we cannot control. This constant change can bring anxiety, uncertainty, and even fear. But in the teachings of the Buddha, there is something that remains unchanged, something eternal that can guide us through all of life's challenges. This eternal guidance is not a distant God or an outside force. It is the Dharma, the truth of the universe, the natural law that exists beyond time and space. The Dharma teaches us that suffering arises when we cling to things that are impermanent. We grasp at youth, but it fades. We hold on to success, but it does not last. We attach ourselves to people, but they too must leave one day. When we rely only on things that change, we are left feeling empty and lost. But the Dharma is always present, whether we recognize it or not. Just as the sun rises and sets without our effort, just as the seasons change without our command, the truth of impermanence and interdependence continues to shape our lives. The Buddha did not invent these truths. He simply awakened to them. And we too can awaken to them through faith and practice. Faith in the eternal is not about believing in something mystical or supernatural. It is about trusting that no matter what happens in life, there is a deeper truth that supports us. When we accept impermanence, we are no longer afraid of change. When we understand that everything is connected, we act with greater kindness. When we embrace the Dharma, we find peace, not because life becomes easy, but because we are no longer resisting what is natural. In moments of loss, we can remember that nothing truly disappears, only transforms. In times of difficulty, we can trust that this moment too will pass. And in moments of joy, we can cherish them fully, knowing they are precious because they are fleeting. The eternal guidance of the Dharma does not take away our struggles, but it helps us move through them with wisdom and grace. Faith is not about controlling life. It is about walking in harmony with it. The more we trust in the Dharma, the more we find freedom. And with this freedom comes true peace. Not a peace that depends on circumstances, but a peace that remains, even in the face of change. As we reflect on this journey of faith, wisdom, and compassion, let us consider how we can carry these teachings into our daily lives. In the final part, we will bring together these ideas and explore how faith continues to grow, guiding us toward deeper understanding and greater peace. Faith is not something we achieve and then set aside. It is a path that unfolds with each step we take. It is not about reaching a final destination, but about growing, deepening, and finding peace in the journey itself. Through faith, we learn to walk with wisdom, meet challenges with compassion, and trust in the guidance of the eternal. Looking back on what we have explored, we see that faith is more than belief. It is an experience. It begins as a small seed, planted by curiosity or inspiration. As we nourish it with practice and reflection, it grows strong. Doubts may arise, but they do not weaken true faith. Rather, they help refine it. Faith becomes real when we see its truth in our own lives. When we live with mindfulness and kindness, when we let go of attachment and embrace impermanence, we begin to understand what it truly means to walk this path. At times, life will test our faith. There will be moments of loss, uncertainty, and hardship. But even in those moments, the Dharma is always present, offering guidance. It does not promise that difficulties will disappear, but it shows us how to face them with clarity and peace. The teachings of the Buddha remind us that everything changes, but wisdom, compassion, and truth remain. With this understanding, we can meet life with a calm heart, free from fear and resistance. Each of us is on our own journey, but we are not alone. The path of faith connects us all. Whether you have been practicing for many years or are just beginning to explore, your path is valuable. Every step matters. Every moment of awareness, every act of kindness, and every effort to understand brings light to the world. Before we part, I want to express my deep gratitude. Your time and presence here mean a great deal. Your support, whether through your kind words, your engagement with these teachings, or your generosity, is truly appreciated. Knowing that these reflections resonate with you and bring value to your life gives great meaning to this work. If you feel that these teachings have brought you insight or peace, I am grateful that we could share this time together. Your comments, your appreciation, and your support, whether through likes, subscribing to this channel, or even super thanks, are received with deep gratitude. May we continue to walk this path with openness, wisdom, and compassion. Until next time, may you be well, may your heart be at peace, and may the light of the Dharma always guide you.